Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us. My name is Kyle Corvus-Crowe, joined at the desk today by Jeff Zetaschner, as we are getting ready for a little bit of lower bracket League of Legends action, as it is our first game going to be the University of Waterloo coming up against Purdue. Winner of this game immediately has to turn around and play the University of British Columbia, who's waiting for them eagerly on the other side. And we're going to get both of those games here back to back, ready to rock and roll with it. So turning our attention to the first one, Waterloo versus Purdue.
Now keep in mind, these are not played on the newest patch. These are played on the most previous patch because we don't want to give teams no time, right? This is played on the last patch and not the one that just dropped Tuesday. For reference, right? But as we get into it, right, we want to take a look at how they actually got here, how they actually managed to make it down into this lower bracket. And for Waterloo, that's been a little bit of a story journey. You know, they obviously were caught a couple times on the main stream, and then they had a little bit of, I would say, an unfortunate loss, right? They came to University of Washington and dropped a 1-2 series to them, but since then, you know, 1-0s all the way. You kind of have to win the 1-0s to get here, so that does make sense. They've been undefeated since they hit lower bracket, beating Michigan and Wisconsin before they met University of Washington, and they dropped to UC Berkeley in the Winter Invitational. And like a lot of the teams, they actually lost one game in the fall season as well. So Waterloo, I think, definitely trying to make a bit more of a comeback, right? They are, I think, a very good team, a very consistent team. For them to have dropped in the round of 32, like a lot of our other strong teams, they did go out relatively early in the Winter Invitational, but I don't think that's a fair representation of their total skill. And that's what they're trying to show here. So, who's against them, right? It's Purdue. 5-1, also lost to the same team Waterloo lost to. Both lost to Ball State 0-2. So that is kind of interesting in of itself, right? The fact that you both lost to the same team means that maybe they measured up relatively evenly. They both went out in the round of 32. They both went out to University of California team. Unlike them, though, they did, in fact, lose a little bit earlier, right? So getting in to playoffs, they did go down in the round of 16. UCLA took them out, and so now this is Purdue's first game in the lower bracket. They are going to have to fight a best of one to keep their chances alive, and then fight another best of one if they do win this. And Waterloo looking to do the same. Remember, best of ones entirely after you lose lower bracket, you are indeed out of the tournament. It's double elim, and now we're going to see who's got what it takes to come out on top in this best of one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to get into game number one, the only game, as it is a best of one. No series attached here this time between Purdue on the red side and Waterloo over on the blue side. That means for Waterloo, it's going to be Juan Carlos Fist in the top lane, Sin in the jungle, Clout Chaser in that mid lane, Third Bolt and Special K rounding out the bottom part of the map. Meanwhile, over for Purdue, that is Roasting Rooster in the top pick, in the bringing up lane, Expel and Pout Kid there on the bottom side of things. Already you can tell Waterloo ready to just group up, ready to be together, hanging out, trying to maybe catch somebody on the run down to this bot lane. I'd be surprised if Expel or Pout Kid fell for that. Usually you expect to see the team with the Blitzcrank trying to get into things, but maybe not going to be the invading side this time around. And
sometimes
it's a pretty interesting composition, you know, to go for the Blitz. Obviously hasn't been super consistent in terms of the damage output, but consistency aside, it is a guaranteed pick most of the time. It's certainly a lot of damage. The Sivir with the Boomerang Blade wrapping through could be what the doctor ordered in order to make it all happen.
Now, early enough start onto things, just trying to get this red buff out and away for themselves is what they want. At the end of the day, get Kane off to a good start. It'll pay dividends later on. They know the game. They know how it's played. Same style over for Flawed Logic on this edge. We want to get in his blue. Both junglers just starting the strong side. I think they may end up close to that top lane. early ganks onto the Hecarim.
And
early ganks onto the... enough. We'll see if they can make that a reality for themselves.
Yeah, this is certainly one of the jungle-focused matchups. Sejuani now matching the Kayn a bit, and I'm expecting something to change relatively soon, right? Oh, aggression, Blitzcrank. He's not 2. They reach it first, and Waterloo, they push their advantage as much as they can.
You need to keep that advantage pressed up and alive. Best of 1. Getting your enemy off the back foot in just one single instant can be all it takes. Quad logic trying to come on through, trying to get a little bit more. Roasting Rooster in a lot of trouble there, but the same could be said for Juan Carlos Fist. He gets taken down. Rooster gonna get out of this one. Not if Sentry has anything to say about it. No, is taken down. Beautifully done. Quad logic keeps it alive. Rooster staying where he needs to be. Now Clout Chaser getting chased right out of mid lane. Purdue off to a hell of a start.
A very fast start to Purdue's game. Remember we mentioned they did indeed take down UCF, and it's for a reason, right? They've got great early game aggression. The Sejuani perfectly reading when the Sylas is going to push up. She forces a fight. The Hecarim just has way more than enough damage to set it all up. He's melee, she's melee. The passive starts proccing, and then that's all that she wrote. Good damage in the top side. 1,000 gold lead for first blood, plus the accoutrements that follow. And now the Sejuani is going to be looking to just punish the Kayn. You know, the more damage that you can get, the more advantage you can push. It's all going to be beneficial and just kind of icing on the cake. You know, the Sejuani's already ahead. She doesn't need to keep forcing the Kayn down. But if she can, why not win?
Happy to do so. Happy to keep that pressure up and alive. 1 kill up is all they definitely need for themselves to keep moving that direction and feeling good about it. So hopefully that'll be the tools in Purdue's corner that they need. We talked about them maybe being a little bit on the back foot, this being their first best of 1 in the lower bracket. Like you said earlier, this is basically where University of Waterloo has just lived for the last couple games. They're no strangers to this feeling. And so you take a look at some of what they've drafted on the side of Purdue and think the Hecarim top, the Blitzcrank support, are they trying to maybe kind of throw this crazy wrench competition that, hey, look, Waterloo wasn't prepared for this, and if they only have to fight it this one time, well, we're going to hit them with everything that they can't ban. Hey, maybe.
Just keep throwing it at them, you know? Eventually, there's going to be something they can't ban, and we're just going to keep playing it. And that's certainly a way to make it all work, but it's not a guaranteed method. And right now, what I got to say is, even though they got the early lead, right? Even though they got a pretty massive advantage, they are starting to lose the CS game a little bit in that bottom lane. So now we got to see, you know, the Sivir, of course, she's going to be a little bit slower pushing than the Lucian, but Sylas is in trouble again.
Yeah, he's got to just try to back on out of that one, but that's going to be the 4-stack proc of the Sejuani just to get him stunned up for a little bit.
He falls off.
Yeah, it's enough time to get him into the clutches of Rooster. Flawed Logic gets the kill, and that's the 3rd assist coming down now for Rooster, who's just fantastically marching on forward, feeling very good about the amount of damage he's been able to put out here. And with that, decent stack up in the top lane, you gotta think they're trying to make some kind of play back for themselves on the side of Waterloo. Well, if Sinzari can make this dragon a reality, that'd be something, but knows that there's enemies coming up, knows his own health bar is not really equipped to deal with that challenge, and they have just given an extra strong leash over to the members of Purdue, because Flawed Logic is there to pick up on that instantaneously. Just like that, Blue Dragon wrapped up nicely with a little red bow, given over to the hands of Purdue.
Yeah, and that dragon going over fast, I mean, it means Purdue is just actually using their advantage well, right? They do pressure the waves, they get the shove in, especially against somebody like, you know, Lucian and Blitz, or sorry, Lucian Braum. The Blitzcrank threatens just enough so that they can find that room, escape, and pick up the dragon to boot. The jungler certainly is making it happen for them right now. Flawed Logic is everywhere they need him to be. 3 kills on the Sejuani. It's not the champ you want to have a bunch of kills on, but at the very least, aggressive, proactive plays that are making Purdue have a...
Yeah, and I mean, it can give him some bandwidth to play around in these lanes if he needs it, and so has his pick of the litter thus far to where he'd want to go, but some things looking better than others. Of course, it's 2 deaths onto the Sylas in the top lane. He's still got the CS advantage for himself there over this Hecarim, and that's not likely to change anytime soon, but knows that mid lane is already tilting very heavily towards Zac, and should continue to do so. So maybe he wants to come in on the Lucian Braum. It's a bit tougher of a gank. Maybe he just keeps hard farming. Maybe, it's just a much easier time to make sure you're laying down the right wards, getting the right vision paths down to get where you need to go and establish something a little bit more aggressive, like the roam play from your particular lane. But regardless, has this advantage, knows he can do something with it. The world is his oyster this particular time. It looks like it's congregated here.
Juan Carlos is about to kill this guy.
Lower jungle, but meanwhile, yeah, Juan Carlos forces the unstoppable rush right flash of Bruce. He's in trouble. Flawed Logic, though, going to be the first death, definitely down over onto the side of things. And meanwhile, in the top line, yeah, that is a pickup. Juan Carlos did get the kill onto Rooster. His 3 assists counted for nothing at the end of the day. And there's some nice shutdown 300 bounty gold coming down to the kill on Flawed Logic as well. That one, little jungle on jungle action comes out for Senzari.
And this is... It's not exactly going that well for Purdue anymore, right? The CS advantage that they have in the mid lane, it's not making up for the fact that the top lane has a huge advantage as well. And now the Blitzcrank is almost caught, had to burn Flash super early and doesn't get the pullback boots. Purdue, they're getting pressured now, and they're definitely feeling hot under the collar as the rest of Manitoba are, as the rest of Waterloo. Manitoba was a little bit earlier in the week, messing up my Canadian places, but as the rest of Waterloo continue to aggress right around that dragon fight, there's no dragon there, but you still see them pressuring very well, right? Centauri responds very excellently. Special K gets any kind of proc onto Sejuani, stun lands, right? It's the reason Braum's so good in the aggressive composition, because you can get multiple procs onto multiple members just by having him auto them.
Happy to keep that alive, and yeah, feeling good about the state of that ability there. It's been part of their advantage, but now look at this, and has Flawed Logic.
This is, waiting for it to all come down, but again, just waiting. And once it actually comes together, I'm expecting the Lucian to start, really pressuring the bottom lane. He does have his first, essentially an item, right? It's not a full item, but at the very least, it is a quite good starter. And once you have the Cutlass, you have the ability to regen a bunch with the health, and you get yourself the slow plus the extra 100 damage burst, you can seriously bring peoples in pain. And what he's looking to do right now, obviously, kill the Sivir off, get the early pressure, and get the second drag. As soon as that spawns, they're definitely going to try to take it, maybe take some plates afterwards. But until then, it's all about this top lane, right? This is the only lane that's had actual action beyond that one jungle fight, and it's all because the Sejuani early ganked the Sylas and still hasn't gotten him completely off the game. He's able to just pressure in the Hecarim and get a solo kill to boot.
And the solo kill is such a big part of his ability in this lane, and now, yeah, it seems like the sky's the limit for what he can continue to pressure out there, because even when he was down those few deaths, he's been keeping the CS well enough above about 10. Now he's looking way more than that, and even the tower pressured to boot. You'd think, hey, this Hecarim picking the top lane, it's aggressive. Well, it's not been aggressive enough, and Sylas may just be the perfect answer to it all together. So guys, a lot of wiggle room for the rest of their composition, especially when you think Senzari here. Some options now. He was pretty far behind in the jungle, but that kill, the bonus gold, and the CS that he's got for himself are probably putting that a lot closer to even this time around. Now it feels like things are definitely swinging back the way of Waterloo, and they do have the gold lead. They're down the kill, they're down the Drake, and mid lane not looking so great for Clout Chaser, but this could be a turnaround, actually. Zac, I don't think he was expecting this. Here's Special K ready to get it. That's going to be just on the edge of being avoided, but Senzari still gets kill. Meanwhile, the Dragon, well, Juan Carlos Fisty down here. He's got no friends in this low place. But yeah, it does end up falling just barely at the end of it. The Dragon going to do the next thing they want to get. There's so many Braum passes incomplete. But third bolt gets Roasting Rooster. That's another one coming down as Flawed Logic is out of there. Third bolt does get enough for himself in the third kill for Expel. That's the triple for himself there as the bottom lane are the surviving members. Along with my good personal friend, the Infernal Drake, he was not beset by his enemies this time around, did manage to make it out alive. And we'll see how much longer that lasts.
But he lived through it. And I think that's a really interesting thing, right? For all that just happened there, the kills still in the favor of the side of Purdue, but the gold's still in the favor of the side of Waterloo. And that's a very interesting statement, because it means that not only did Waterloo not get enough kills during the fight, but even though they traded 3 for 3, they're still in the lead. And that's because the Dragon didn't go down. This Dragon's going to become a very contentious point again. We mentioned last time, right, that this was going to be all about pushing up the bottom lane, forcing the Drake, getting an early lead. Both of these teams had the same idea, though. And if they're going to do this again, I'm not sure who's going to win the fight, because after all, it was so close, right? The health bars were all blinking red on both sides. Braum passive's not able to finish, you know, whatever it is. It's still up in the air. And if the Blitz lands a pull, if Braum gets a hit, it could all change. And so they're looking for this advantage now, but Special K might have been caught.
Yeah, he's just going to try to get the damage down with the Blitzcrank CC already in full effect. Yeah, try to get the Flawed Logic this time. That's who they want maybe elsewhere, but they're just chasing right off, actually. Purdue, they may have got a catch, but they said we're not going to commit to it just yet. It's more than we want to deal with, and now Roasting Rooster trying not to get roasted himself in this top lane as that CS lead just continuing to stack 32 now into the hands of Juan Carlos. Doesn't show any signs of slowing down. Meanwhile, Cloud Chaser has to get over the wall. Barely does survive the boomerang, but certainly going to be of no use in this fight. This Dragon, hot water. That's not just because he's the Infernal Drake boiling the river. I mean, he's in some real trouble here.
Yeah, certainly. And as the Dragon continues to hit, it's actually going to reset very soon. That's the second time it's gone back, but the Braum is getting the 4-man knockup.
Wants to find it. Special K's in there. He's got the shield to keep himself alive, and third bolt just staying okay at the edge of things. Buys time for Sinzari to get in there. Dragon not resetting fully just yet, but now absolutely will. 26% HP. He got low there, but yet again, this man lives to fight another day.
I don't really have a way for either team to guaranteed win the fights, because most of the time, the reason these fights happen is because somebody gets caught, right? The problem is, neither one of these teams has a crazy amount of damage, right? Even though you've got themselves past... Oh, that's a kill.
Just like that, yeah, Juan Carlos using his own spectral horses against him. There we go. Implications of that gotta feel pretty good too now. Basically what he can just do in this top lane. Just gonna crash the wave actually, but no, thinks better of it and decides to come around, get a couple more hits on the turret.
So the interesting thing I think was the fact is the 4 versus 3 that they had, right? Corky was not there. Purdue still weren't able to close it out, right? They didn't find finishing touches. They were too afraid to go in. They weren't landing blitz pulls, whatever it is. They need picks more than they need just a straight up fight, because a straight up fight means that they're giving a chance for the Sejuani passive to proc, of course, but they're also giving a chance for Braum passive proc, and that's not really good, right? If the Braum passive starts multi-procking based on anybody hitting it versus Sejuani's only melee, things are going to get very messy, and with the Kayn, you know, going to probably go red form because they need some kind of tankiness, and the Sylas, more importantly, hard winning top lane, already having taken the turret down, they don't really have time to wait. If they just wait, they're just going to lose more. So, need to take a fight, they need to get picks, and they need to do it soon.
And, you know, with some of the advantages that they have on their side, I mean, 3 kills on the Sejuani, 3-0 Sivir here. Finally, third time's a charm, they will crack this Mountain Drake down. Next one will be the Cloud Drake. With the advantages that they have over on the side of Purdue and what the, you know, some of these strong champions, you think they need to be taking the fight a little bit quicker. This is not an extended series. It is just a best of one. If you let it fall too far behind, you're signing your own death warrant. When you have an advantage, you got to push it like the plague. I mean, as quickly as possible and, you know, absolutely unrelenting. Seems like, you know, they're going at an okay pace, but a lot of what they're doing is reactive. just a little worrisome now. Losing a Drake, losing a tower, now here losing the Rift Herald. You'd like to see them make a play to get something back on board.
And if they make a play to get back in, I mean, the Rift Herald's certainly a way to do it, but it's not going in their favor either. That's taken up by the Kayn, and they have to do now. Purdue is, again, the Blitzcrank hasn't been used as a Blitzcrank should be. You know, you need to allow him to get picks. Walk into a team fight, get the first pick. If you get the first pick, right, if you get an advantage, that's how you win it, because then it's a 4 versus 3 or a 5 versus 4. At that point, should be a relatively easy closeout. Sejuani is now here, and they're going to go for that.
Crank with the speed, but he is tagged up by the Glacial Fissure. He's going to get slow before he gets into range to hook anything. Great play by Special K to just shut that down. Third bolt, very defensively using that culling as well. Make sure no minions are alive to get in where they need to be. Now Sejuani down there, flawed logic. Got a long way to run if he wants to get anywhere to do his next thing. He's going to try to invade the camp, maybe? Get some vision, who knows? He's getting the plans. He's clearing out some vision, but either way, they wasted a lot of time. There was no dragon down there, no Krugs or anything for him to kind of stall about with, but the tower is going to be the eventual fruit of his labors. He did set that one up nicely for them. They knock it on down easy. Everyone from the side of Purdue should be in full retreat. Back it on off, catch their breath, and feel like they brought this game just a little bit closer to you.
Yeah, it's closer. Yeah, you're right. It is closer, but even if they bring it closer, they need to bring it more than closer. They need to bring it into Sivir's realm. 3 kills, not 2 items. At 3 items, she starts to get very dangerous. At 4 items, the game's basically completely in their favor. They're trying to stall it out, obviously, but they haven't managed to do so just yet. Third Bolt now trying to get the fight.
Yeah, it was a nice dodge to begin things, but not enough. As the growing Rooster in here, he is going to get down. No! Third Bolt manages to stay alive somehow, and the rest of the fight raging on without him. Now Rooster's in some real trouble as Kayn gets it down easily. Centauri there getting that one for himself. Now this tower could be in some real trouble.
Cloud Chaser. Cloud Chaser.
Yeah, he knows he wants to go in, knows there's no jungler, but he is dodged out, and meanwhile, look at that. That's going to be the Rift Herald popping. And they're going to get this proc instantaneously on the second tier turret. They may even get said turret.
They
have
should.
Plenty of
There's nobody
here.
up, nobody to defend it. The Sivir's still dead. The top laner gone as well. It's Sejuani plus a Blitzcrank. How do you defend a turret with that? Maybe you just ult in, maybe you just try to fight it out, but they don't have the ultimates. They don't have any way to stop this Rift Herald. It's going to get charged into the third turret.
Absolutely, just stand behind the Rift Herald. You're not going to get pulled in by the Blitzcrank. Meanwhile,
or not. Okay, there we go. The Sivir is here to clear it finally, and it will not get a charge into the third, but 2 turrets taken down instantaneously is definitely a good sign if you're a Waterloo fan. They want to get these turrets, they want to get these advantages, because after all, they've got the Lucian Corki, they've got a Sylas that's super ahead, they've got, you know, every tool that seems to be necessary to win this early game, and they can't let the Sivir get to late.
Waterloo have been playing it well to the early game thus far, not getting as ahead as they'd like to have, but maybe that right there was the play they needed to break this thing wide open. 2 extra turrets to their name ends up being about a 4k gold advantage, little less, but who's counting? Whether or not the players, they can't see it, they don't know. Either way. They have a general idea of how far ahead they are. They're feeling good about it. They want to press the advantage here, and that's going to do it right on to Pout Kid. He's taken out without a second thought onto it, and now this becomes a little bit harder of a turret to defend. Should it go that way? Maybe they just wait 30 seconds to start the Drake up, but by then, Falcon will be back into the 6 seconds off that Drake spawn. That's enough time to get there before it all goes topsy-turvy, maybe. Either way,
yeah.
Corky's bringing up the split push, as well as Juan Carlos on the top side. I like what they're starting to set up here on the side of Waterloo.
Yeah, I mean, pushing both side lanes out, this is a pretty standard behavior when you want to take an objective, right? You want to force them to respond or else lose gold, you know? If they don't respond to the side lanes, they lose all the gold. You set them up for the fact that they're going to have to make a decision and either contest you and take a potentially 50-50 at best fight, especially with the way the current game has shaped up, or they don't contest you and they just go for waves. Catching the Sylas might be an alternative, but they have to be able to kill him. Getting 1 kill, that's good. Picking him up in exchange for the Cloud Drake might be even better, but it is still another dragon. Remember, these are all going to start stacking towards that Elder before long, so the side of Waterloo as they continue to get more Drakes, as they have gotten the last 2 of the game, of course, things are going to be a little bit more difficult. But with no Silas to fight with, I'm sure they don't want to take this, and they will back off very smartly, not pressure on towards the turret, not do anything untowards their already existing game plan. Because as it stands right now, all they have to do is just wait. You know, they've gotten themselves a pretty okay lead in terms of the 4K advantage. Sure, they might lose an outer tower here. That would be their second lost tower of the game, but it's not a massive loss. They already have 2 towers down the bottom lane. They can lead pressure towards most of these turrets after the side of Purdue backs off, but they're trying to back them off early, and they do it! They save the turret one hit.
Tower. What a save. Beautiful. All Special K in the Glacial Fissure. The rest of the team did respond well as they needed to, but I love to see that happen. And now we'll see if they can turn it back around and get some more damage down. You know that Brewster's on the sidelines. He wants to get around for a little bit of extra damage. It would be actually quite surprising here if Waterloo were able to take the first mid tower before the side of Purdue. Looks like they're just backed up their old split push tricks.
This is... Again, it's Purdue. They're defending decently, right? They're actually making a stand, but they haven't had great success in the fights. They did get a pick onto the Silas. They lost drag for it. If they get a fight onto bottom lane, they seem to lose top side, right? It's not just a give and then take. It's always a constant pull. Waterloo's always pushing. They're always looking for the next advantage. And right now, that advantage happens to be the Baron. When they see Hecker in bottom, they know he doesn't have TP. They're just trying to bait it out, but Sejuani ult lands on the Sivir.
They want to get more. Sivir is taken out of it instantaneously, and that's not a short death timer knocking on the door of 40 seconds. Cloud Logic going to get out of that one. It's a nice pullback and stop up Special K. That's going to be a huge ult just for the Braum, though, and he's not even going to go down. Don't love what I just saw there, especially now they're lingering around, waiting to try to fight without Expel here. It's just risky business. Going out, Nicky are decided to do. They know they need to defend this turret, but maybe some Baron priority. Still 10 seconds left on Sivir. See how this one shakes itself out.
Certainly going to be the Baron, at least falling very low. The Sejuani has dash to get over the wall, but the rest of them turn and burn onto Purdue.
It was a bait that they tried to go for. They're trying to go for it even further. That's coming in, but fleeing is right there. And Hecarim again foiled by his own ultimate here. Zach cut on the edge of the Glacial Fissure. He's in some real trouble here. He's going to try to turn it back. Third Bolt actually may go down. And the poison, is it going to get him? No, he just barely lives out. The Summoner heal used in its full capacity as well. That means they can dive under the tower. They can try to get Expel. He's not long for this world. I don't think he's getting out of this one. Will get the Boomerang to do some damage, but not even enough to take out Special K. The tower now. Next one on the block. That may be even another tower if they can get in without Claw Logic stopping.
It's going to be 3 towers. They're going to take the inhibitor tower to boot unless they want to turn burn for the Baron. It's a question of health bars. They are not very healthy, so they don't want to go for the Baron. The turret, a much safer chance. And even though Hecarim is up, remember, his ultimate, as good as it might be, if he ults in, he gets Braum autoed, he's dead, right? One stun kills him. He is not a tanky member yet, and that is the reason he has to leave. It's the reason he doesn't go in. The inhibitor turret falls. And with Hecarim chasing, Juan Carlos still will live.
Just time to back and reset here. Very big threats now starting to come online from the side of Waterloo. Starting to feel really good about their position in this game. And as we take a look at the clock and see we're around the 25-minute mark. I mean, things getting all the more dangerous for Purdue if they can't flip this go switch on in time, because we saw the death timer for Expel was already north of 40 seconds just by a bit there. It's only going to get longer. It's only going to get stronger. If they can't get some of those death timers moving in their favor on some one fights, it's just going to start looking very bad for Purdue in their very first losers bracket game. It doesn't matter how far you went in the upper bracket. If you get down here, you can't take it the rest of the way. Waterloo may not be feeling as bad about their round of 32 loss if they can pull out the win here today.
Yeah, and this is starting to be, it's not starting to be. It's a lot more than just worrisome. Right now, Waterloo have a massive lead. They've got a massive advantage, 4 turrets, and nearly 9,000 gold to boot. I mean, if you want to talk about ways that they get advantages, it has just been fight after fight going in their favor. That last one was very convincing as well, right? Early pick on the Sivir, and then everything else just follows after it. But it's because Sivir face checks, right? If the Sejuani's in front, the Sejuani doesn't just die like that, you know? She's a bit tankier. She has that innate tankiness from her passive for the first couple of seconds. So in that sense, I would say maybe a bit bad positioning, just not trusting, not knowing what's actually in your jungle, or trusting too much maybe. And as she goes down, remember, the rest of the team didn't have the ability to just leave. Once they fought even a small bit, they were all caught.
Speaking of caught, this could be big. Rooster into the back line. It is back up, so the Glacial Fissure is down. Can they get more onto Falcon? Can Cloud Chaser turn this one around? He's going to find Rooster for sure. That one actually goes to the credit of Juan Carlos, who picks up Falcon as well. And now Zach is on down. This is absolutely the game coming out now. They've broken it wide open, and sub 30 minutes, Waterloo come in to absolutely fight this one. They're going to go for the open inhibitor. They're going to go where they got the minions. And just like that, there is no bounce back. There is no chance to take it further. It's a best of one, and it looks like Waterloo are going to win it with the GG's. Purdue, they're going out of the tournament. Waterloo going to go on to face University of British Columbia.
Yeah, UBC waiting for them in the next game, which is right after this, keep in mind. This is not over by far, because Waterloo, now they have to contend with the second best of one, right? It was a great game. Pretty well played, I would say. There were some early deaths in the top lane. There was some, lack of warding. I'm worried that UBC might punish that harder, right? UBC is a fantastic team. Not to say Purdue's a bad team, but UBC exploits a lot of little things. So for Waterloo, this is going to be a much harder challenge, I think. And Purdue, they put up a pretty good fight in that early game, but they just couldn't convert. They couldn't bring it late enough. The meta, still super early focused. They didn't have the right comp for it. Kind of decided a little bit in draft how the game was supposed to play out, and then it played out exactly as it should.
Yeah, they absolutely locked it right on down from the side of Waterloo. Sub 30-minute game, taking it all to the fight of Purdue and moving right along. So, of course, we do want to thank Purdue for their participation in the C-Star League JV season this time around. And we wish them all the best of luck in the next season, but they're out for this time around. So now we turn our attention towards Waterloo. Maybe trying to clean up some of those mistakes, maybe trying to shake some of that off against UBC. We'll see how they can do it, of course, but we do need to give them just a little bit of time to reset mentally here and prep for this next challenge in the proverbial gauntlet that they are running. So we're going to kick it over to a short break, but when we come back, we'll have another best of one action ready to wrap up today. So don't go anywhere.
From the weird to the insane.
Welcome back from break, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking around. Still Kyle Corvus Crow, still Jeff Zeta Schneer, still watching Water have changed out one of the opponents as they are going to be taking on UBC. We saw the victory over Purdue, gave them some time to shake things out, and now they're right back to square one. Best of one back against the wall elimination. This one moves right on along even further.
Yeah, and I think this one, we mentioned, right, Purdue had the same record that Waterloo did, but unlike Purdue, Waterloo has a little bit of experience with the best of one style. So as we get straight into game, no waiting, no stalling whatsoever, need to remind you, best of ones only. From here on out, lower bracket is best of one all the way until you reach the lower bracket finals, and then you have a chance in grand final.
Yeah, and with this, we can take just a quick second to process some of these compositions since we didn't get to do so in draft. I mean, taking a look at each of these two teams, you got a very strong lock, stock, and barrel fight-ready composition coming out from Waterloo, but meanwhile, over on the side of UBC, who all get tagged up by that boomerang. So right now, the unequivocal damage leader in this game. We'll see whether or not they decide to try to press us any further. You've got a nasty composition coming out from UBC as well. I mean, the team fight phase of this gets going on the Alistair, Lucian at the same time. Great bottom lane up against Sivir Thresh. I'd like to see, I think, Klaus Chaser punish this Anivia pick just a little bit more, if he can, in the lane, than what we maybe saw out of his run last game when he was playing the Corki. Curious, I don't think the rest of the map really shakes up too much. Maybe the Riven into the Urgot becomes a fun point to talk about. We'll see how that lane unfolds.
Yeah, and as the lane unfolds, keep in mind the fact is this is going to be a pretty, I would say not, repeat of last game, but at the very least, right? It is a Clout Chaser taking actually a lot more damage than I expected. Baguettes is really laying it on thick, but that's kind of just because it's, early trading, right? He doesn't have the 2, he can't pursue for forever. Juan Carlos on the Riven into the Urgot. Urgot, now with the changes, not as strong early, definitely super strong late. So we'll have to see if the Riven can make it happen before the Urgot comes into his own.
Definitely wants to pick up that kind of pressure, definitely wants to get that going for himself. Just curious, because that Riven, a bit of a time bomb. If you can shut it down, it's a time bomb that you can defuse, right? Because it doesn't need to be just necessarily you blowing up the game. But meanwhile, trying to blow up the lane here, they're looking to get a little bit more action down.
And for anything that they can find, but yeah, action across the board so far. And the Jarvan's taking a relatively interesting path. He's actually opted for not to take his buff at all. And he's started on the Gragas's other side, so taking his blue and then coming down, but this already having the Anivia missing that binding though.
Yeah, big one to miss here because Dark could be coming in for more. That's going to be the first kill coming on down. Credit to Clout Chaser who gets that one for himself. Dark as well, doing pretty great about the way that did pan out. And now Juan Carlos having to be careful, having to make sure he doesn't get too much trouble here. Back now, it should be okay. And Stun not going to connect in the mid lane.
Oh, now this is Ballistic in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, this could be more too, because that's going to be Lucian having the flash already. That's going to be a pull into Travis, though, and that's a kill for the Thresh. Easy pickup and Special K gets a special kill for himself there. Happily taking credit.
That is really, really aggressive. Again, the Jarvan still bottom side because of his pressure in towards the jungle when they got the kill onto the Gragas. Not respected. And then just walks in. He gets an early EQ. It's like a level 2 or 3 gank. There's nothing Trivia can do. He could have flashed it, actually. If he flashes it, he lives. Didn't flash it, doesn't live. And now, ooh, the hook almost lands, trying to sneak it around that minion line as it walks up. Not going to be the case. Even so, the attempt is being made.
Hitbox on that Thresh Q could be a little bit forgiving there if you are Thresh and you do play it just to the corners. It's a little tricky for everyone who's not familiar with the matchup, and If you're not familiar with the Thresh matchup, it's probably just because you started playing or maining a bottom lane role. Everyone should kind of know how that one goes. He's one of the most quintessential supports in the game. Ever since he's been released, he's been viable just about in every meta. Still, Special K trying to pull a sneaky one. Not everyone's always prepared for it, so...
Yeah, and realistically, I mean, this is still... he might not be prepared, but he's trying to make it look that way. Dark, again, with the flash out this time, though. Definitely doesn't want to tangle with the tower shot.
Drags one way, flashes another, in and out, hot and cold, yes and no. Just getting right out of
Hot
that one.
and you're cold, you're yes and you're no.
Yep, just wants to stay safe, and maybe can't say the same for Clout Chaser, who does get hit up by that stun, but won't lose too much off of it. And keeping the CS relative good. He has the kill to his advantage as well. Of course, that was with the help of Dark. This time, not going to get too flustered or flamboozled by that wall, just try to dive them off, or deny them, sorry, as much as he can to this Anivia under this tower here. And it's working. Even if he gets hit by a stun for it, even if he's going to go low here, we'll be able to spit back some of that damage as return. I would not be surprised to see both mid laners making the gentleman's agreement to mutually back before too long. Maybe they just want to stick around and kill each other, but we'll see.
As they, they stick around, they are trying to, force things out, but the junglers, I mean, one's been very successful. Dark has made quite a few plays, and they've all kind of panned out. 5 minutes in, he's still super prolific, but now, maybe the hook is going to be too much.
Point blank for it, Special K.
Gragas is here.
He's committing for it, still has Flay. We'll flash it instead first off, just to make sure he's okay on that one.
Dang, that's really something. It's crazy, but doesn't pan out, doesn't work for them. They miss it, and the Gragas. If it's if it's an E a bit earlier, he catches onto the Sivir, maybe it worked out differently, but even when he gets the right timing, the flash burn is only the start. You have to repeat gank. You have to come back, actually make the play happen, actually get this kill, or else it doesn't matter, right? You just burned flash. You didn't get the kill. You didn't stop them from winning the lane. You have to make an impact the second time around. And that's where this Gragas is going to be super effective. If he can make that second gank happen, he can come in again. But as he is taking his jungle, Dark is taking his jungle too, and they're going to have to try and converge on this.
Reinforcements coming in from both sides. Yeah, Dark here. Can you get it? Can you win the
Knocked away.
Yes. Can you get back to the lantern? Answer:
no.
Maybe not. They're standing on it very well here, and Bai makes that one happen. No chance to get out, and Trivia Boy doing exactly what he needed to. Well, he's going to reap the rewards of that. Get the kill credit for himself. Be just happy as can be for it. Fattening up the cow just a little bit this time. Hopefully for Travis, not for the end goal of a slaughter this time around. Chasing it pretty far into this jungle, actually. They're going to be able to get some good vision down, or at least creep denial. That'll be a big thing. Dark feeling his first real setback in this game.
Yeah, and the setback, it does it does come at a very opportune time, right? For the side of UBC, they needed to slow Dark down. They needed to, make his Jarvan not just take over the entire game by itself, and this could be the right time to do it. He definitely needs some kind of a stop. But I say that, and he's back to stealing buffs again, right? He's just getting the timing so well. He's getting so many advantages, and here comes the hook missing on the baguettes, though.
So much about League momentum is just making sure that you don't let them know when they've made you feel a blow. Just getting right back to your old tricks is probably the quickest way to fake it till you make it back into a strong lead here. Or this, it doesn't always work if they're keen on the punish, but obviously this time, Walton right up, stealing the blue away, and now this time we got a little bit of more action coming down in this bottom lane. Still no flash for the Thresh. Can't get a good deep lantern on back, but can hold this one off. I guess as well in some real trouble. It's a nice hook onto the Alistair here, but it's just an invitation for Bai to get a little bit closer. And the Flay is just going to grab air this time around. And that's going to be the back off. Third Bolt using both summoners for that one. And that's going to be a real sticky situation now for the members of Waterloo. Being these summoners down in the bot lane. No flash, no heal, no ignite. Being used offensively or somewhat defensively here as much as it can be. Ballistic Bunny now feeling the pressure from Juan Carlos. One more hit should do it, but no, he actually gets a suppress off in time. Gets him just below that, and Fear Beyond Death strikes Fear straight to death in the heart of Juan Carlos Fist as he's taken out of this one. Now Gragas back again in the bot lane. No summoners for third blood. I think this is just a sacrificial thresh here. Yes, he's going to lead them away, say, no, just get back to tower, don't even try. Dark will get the Drake here, and we'll make lemonade out of this somehow.
Yeah, and real. Oh my gosh, Cloud Chaser.
No, flash heal.
No flash.
Ooh. Wow, so close.
That's just crazy, right? So many times you think that they're close to getting kills, and then they just don't have a Dark. Gonna turn this on its head, though. He's done this so many times. What great pathing again to get Baguette in trouble.
So for all the action we've seen here, there's only 5 kills on the map. Maybe we'll make it a 6th one if we can get Baguette, but it's actually going to be Dark. And I don't think Cloud Chaser can finish this egg.
He's getting close, but no, he can't.
Oh my goodness.
Not. Baguette's trying to... Oh, maybe he does.
Get the double kill? Are you kidding me? He does trade his own life for it. Oh. But man, to come out of the egg like that, that's the Phoenix rising from the ashes. And certainly...
Or the icicles, you know. Yeah, it happens.
Frozen ashes, right? I think that's physically possible.
This is... Wow.
So he's really crazy. 2-0-1 when he's coming back to this lane, right? Cassio was a kill ahead. Now, not the case. This is, even though he died, still great for Baguettes here. Summoner's burned, but it's the same story elsewhere, so really I think this has done nothing but kind of help bring him back into this game a little bit, despite the fact that obviously a kill did go to Cassio as well. And now maybe a bit of a renaissance here for Baguettes. A bit of a chance to get back into this game. Still a hard time to get in over Cloud Chaser, but he's been dictating the pace of that lane very well with his bow ever since. I guess we've been in a post-level 6. Just his zoning mechanics have been a little bit more than Cloud Chaser's been either able or willing to handle. And so I think now, if you're looking at this lane, it's going to require a little bit more of an investment from Dark if they want to get this one primed out and ready to kill. Nice hook. Just a little bit of damage. Just a little stall. It's not going to save the ward. It's not going to do anything. Just a little bit of a slap in the face.
It's at this point, right? The game has gone every which way, but in a unified direction, right? There's no just, oh, this team's winning, this team's winning. It's been, well, Vegas is getting kills, and the top laner's doing kind of okay, but then he didn't do so okay. And then Dark, man, he's making plays, but he's also dying. It's just, there's no consistency. Both of these teams, that's what they're trying to find right now. They're trying to find a consistent lead. And neither one is willing to give up that crucial edge. It's still sitting within 600 gold of each other. That can change at basically any point. One fight easily turn that around. And so they continue to search. They continue to try and get advantages. The Thresh Flash, you remember when that went down? It is up with new Ballistic Bunny.
This is bad news for Ballistic here in the top lane. There is no chance to get him this low this time. Fear Beyond Death pop, but not enough to get the kill down for him this time around, and that is going to be Juan Carlos Fist punching it straight in to Ballistic Bunny there, getting himself a good kill lead here, adding on to his CS lead as well, so he's going to be a full 20 up there. Plus, you know, some of these turret plates, he might could get another one out of this one before the time does expire on him, but not super likely, actually, with the way these minions are deteriorating. Should just turn their attention towards the Rift Herald. The teleport coming down in the top lane is Ballistic Bunny coming back to things, and actually, they may look to make a return gank. I don't know without the Cataclysm if they feel like they can take it on. And yeah, they're just going to take the Rift Herald, be happy to leave that one alone. And that's going to be Juan Carlos looking to make the back, get the most out of the items, the gold that he just earned, and we'll come back harder, better, faster, stronger into the top side.
Yeah. This is... Oh, wait, hooking? Okay, he's just kind of, you know, helping him out, but...
Let me hold that in place for you.
Yeah, let me hold that in place for you. But the Rift Herald going down in the mid lane means that now there has to be a response. The turret should fall here. And as it falls, right, Waterloo are going to be looking to try and punish probably towards a different lane. But the reality is they can't. The Rift Herald is running out. They just have to drop it. Because they can't punish towards anywhere else, they do have to change up their playstyle. The Riven in the top side, changing his micro a little bit. Now they're getting the hook. Ragus. Ooh. No damage to follow it up. That's the real problem.
Yeah, they thought about Popping ultimates there, getting the box down, keeping everybody tried to lock in, but just at the end of the day, felt like they wouldn't be able to secure any of these kills. Those were, of course, two of the tankier members on the side. The University of British Columbia, who is now going full on in, going to try to get Cloud Chaser. Actually, the wall not backing up enough Cloud Chaser as much as they may have wanted to, and the hook just at the max edge of its range does not connect and will not get Special K any special privilege here in this particular fight. Didn't get what he wanted to out of that one, but the big takeaway on Carlos Fist still left alone to push this top side. Does not have the teleport, so this is something they need to commit to, although Ballistic Bunny has been able to run back the entire time, so should just be the 4v3 actually, as Gragas nowhere near for this one. The hook landing at a perfect time to get the fight in. That's the flash box, beautifully done. That gets us out of that one. Not going to be trapped in the Cataclysm, going to be able to do some damage to it, though. Beautifully done, trying to find more baguettes. Can you get out of this one? Because here's the help. Here it is on the back end. Lucian by saying goodbye to many of these players trying to get in his face.
Dark is here.
Trying to salvage what he can. He's definitely going to sacrifice himself for this one. That's the triple kill. You've got to kill by here. He can't get away with this, and yet somehow he does. And third bolt, can you make it happen? Can you get the fadeaways? Anything there? The answer is yes. From downtown, but he's gonna maybe die for this one.
Auto.
That's it. It's gonna do it. Beautifully done. All the while Baguettes, the consistent damage factor in all of this buy was streaky. 773 was hard to kill. He's slippery, but Baguettes was consistent, and he was the one that held that all together when it was going topsy-turvy. Not getting enough credit for that one, I don't think. The Vi came up with the flashy play, the triple kill to bring this Lucian straight online, and believe it or not, they still don't have the gold lead after all of that. About 400 down now, favoring Waterloo. But UBC, they've just proven that if you give them an inch, they will take a mile in any fight situation.
Yeah, realistically, I think that this fight situation is going to be a little bit different, because now Juan Carlos could be getting caught. Trivia Boy's here, Dark, reading this perfectly, maybe not. He has no idea that there's an Alistair in this bush.
He's going to find out, yeah.
Instant punch.
Yep, good half the combo burn. There is no engage anymore for Trivia Boy, so...
Well, he didn't want to engage, he wanted to get out.
No, I understand. Just trying to back it on off and make sure they get the lane swap as perfect as they want. They're going to be able to initiate this. That's going to be a big clear, actually. I don't think it saves the tower here, but it absolutely helps with the future towers. So that one, 773. Feeling okay about it. Stun not connecting. It does land, however, onto Baguettes. This could be another egg pop here, assuming he does have that one. Does not, actually. No egg this time around, so that's going to be the snake eating the bird. It does sometimes happen. Now this mid lane tower. You gotta wonder if Dark can get his way with this one onto 773, then he's going to be really poised to take down this tower. It's a beautiful lantern. Not denied it this time. There is no cow to stand on it. While the tower may be just a little bit safer, Waterloo are proving that they can deal with a lost fight around Dragon. They're not going to worry too much about it. They still got the Dragon. Now they're getting the towers. Now they're setting themselves up to try to get more in this game.
Yeah. This is...
I don't think they follow up on that.
Oh, I think they take the turret,
they
though.
That's the tower, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, get the turret.
Well, that's 2 now, to their credit. 3k gold, just like that. I mean, they were 400 up. Now they've got almost 4,000 up. Multiplying it by 10, just like that. I mean, beautifully done to get those towers off the map. That's the entire reach of the outer turrets. Means that now the map has just gotten a lot bigger for them. A lot more wide open for them to make plays around. And, of course, they'll have to move up their ward line to compensate just a bit, but I don't think they mind in the slightest.
At this point, I mean, they don't mind, but they definitely do want a bit more. The game is not going entirely in their favor, and that's because Lucian is 4-0, right? Lucian is big. The Baguettes, I mean, if you want to talk about the bird in the room, not the elephant, the bird in this fact, and how he is, in fact, potentially the word. I think it's worth mentioning also the fact that they can't just win this game. You know, they haven't been able to crack open more than the outers. Sure, they got all 3 outers, but they are starting to lose a bit of that pressure. They are starting to, you know, feel some pushback. Their first turret does go down here, and realistically, I think that they actually could get punished if the Sivir starts overextending. This is now a pinch onto the Riven, though. Not sure if this is the one they want to catch.
Yeah, Riven definitely
He's just gonna jump
right
over
in
the
the
wall.
face of Bai. Yeah,
Or
no,
not.
doesn't get the jump. Has to flash. That just stinks for him.
Yeah.
No blast cone. Just rather still aggressive back actually here. They should actually know where he's backing based on the fact that the wards would show otherwise. I don't think they have any tools to follow up with Thresh there, the special K. No chance to turn that one back on his head. This time around, it's a good escape. If not a little bit expensive there, having to burn that 5-minute cooldown. But at the end of the day, what can you do? Price of your positioning, and you've got to pay it.
Yeah. Gotta pay something, right? And it's not really the gold lead, right? The gold lead is actually kind of small, relatively speaking. 3,000 gold for a 2-turret lead means it's mostly in the turrets, right? There's some CS advantage. TP comes in, Ballistic Bunny. Now that he's down here, there's no side lane pressure. It means that they definitely want to fight, but the hook is going to decide it.
Yeah, this is not meaning anything good for Ballistic Bunny. He's taken out just like that. They burn the box for him. That does also zone off any kind of help that he may be able to get for a little while. They push him back enough to start this Drake up. That's going to be some over-the-wall action if there's any hope for contesting it now. Over onto the side of University of British Columbia, Waterloo. They take their third Drake of the game and tee up yet another Ocean to come right after this one. Quickly. 773 in some trouble. He doesn't realize he's been pinched like this. It's just a delivery system to get the Cataclysm in, but it doesn't get by. Doesn't get him where he wants to. Doesn't matter, because 773 had nowhere to run or hide after that one. More to come, as that's a kid making burgers out of the cow. He is on out of that one. And Trivia Boy told a few facts about how this game is going straight to his face. Not what he was looking for out of that one. 2 big kills, a tower as well, and the Drake. I mean, Waterloo, when it rains, it pours. They are turning up the pressure, and UBC are having a hard time dealing with it.
This is getting real weird, you know? This is it's not a guaranteed fight anymore, but it certainly is looking a bit better. The Cassiopeia is getting a lot more kills. The Riven is actually on the Spear of Shojin, and almost towards her Black Cleaver as well. As soon as that happens, right, nearly full CDR, plus the reduced cooldown every time you're auto-attacking after ultimate, which happens a lot on the Riven auto-cancels, basically every time you Q. And now Ballistic Bunny almost getting caught as well. Dark definitely has ultimate, but does he want to use it yet? He's dropping low.
Yeah, he's got to be careful with this.
This is the ult.
Just out of the range. Yeah, beautifully done, but he's going right back in. It knows that they can just dunk this one on down. Can you get out? Dark, the answer is yes. Does stay alive at the end of the day and had reinforcements coming. It was all stall tactics the whole time. He knew what he was doing, and he'll take a return ticket back to base very quickly and feel good about that one. Ballistic Bunny has to ride the gray line, and not what he was looking for here. Baguettes, though. Hitting Clout Chaser. A thing or two to think about. As they do just start to look for this,
Yeah.
Maybe, just the vision around.
This is Baron, certainly an object of interest, but will it be the right thing? The only thing that they're concerned with, the answer is probably no. The Riven pushing the bottom lane means they want to set up some kind of split to force the side to answer. The Baron is now underway. The turret falling low in the bottom side. Keep in mind, Riven with TP, Urgot with no TP. He only has 1 CC ability to stop her from going. As soon as he uses that flip, she can engage the fight. Chasing her out now, trying to stop that. No way to stop the TP as soon as he uses it, but hasn't used it yet. It's just trying to bait time.
Baiting out that teleport, if you can, would be a big step in just cutting down some of the abilities here. Well, meanwhile, feels like they just want to rush down this mid lane tower. Well, enough of a plan if they can get the minions killed fast enough, waiting a little bit on that Anivia ult, and then leaving that one unsupported. Gotta wonder what Vi and Trivia Boy were off doing, trying to make sure they weren't getting snuck up on, and they're not going to get much out of the tower, but they're not going to lose anything on this one either, except a little bit of time. Riven here, still able to just continue stacking up this lead in the bot lane. 2 kills, sure, but look at the CS there, 165 to 214. It's just a massive lead here. We're going to get a little bit more punishing, I would think, as this goes on. I don't see a way in which Ballistic Bunny starts bringing the heat anytime soon.
Ballistic Bunny, I mean, can he bring the heat though, right? That's it. Can he bring the heat against Riven the Spear Trojan? I doubt that. Instead, Dark will bring the heat.
Wants to get a little bit more trivia, boy. Is where he's looking to find this one. Has to walk through the box twice to get there, but does actually manage to do some damage. Special K only finally going down. But Juan Carlos Fist is there. There is no egg to get out of this one. You are dead, Anivia Baguettes. Taken right out and away on this, and now the Baron is in their sights. 25 minutes almost. Just short of. This could be Waterloo dealing one of the most effective blows if they can make this Baron happen. The rest of the game should start to just fall by the wayside. I mean, they're already providing so much pressure, so much fight potential without it. And now that they've got this on to 4 members, the only one lacking, of course, their support, Fresh, who's not going to be useful in a split push capacity anyway. They can keep all of these lanes primed and really turn up the pressure.
Yeah. This is getting absolutely ridiculous, right? But at the same time, I think that it just hasn't been anything but Waterloo all the way down, right? Dark goes in, he dies, but they get such a perfect TP flank. The Riven is there. Actually, it wasn't even a TP flank, it was a walk-in flank. But Riven's there in time. They get the flank, they get those kills, they get the Baron, they get the drag. Everything's starting to fall into place, and at 25 minutes in, the game is looking a lot like their previous game. You know, Waterloo are just pressuring, forcing fights, getting advantages, and because they have so many damage threats, just continuously forcing the fight in their favor.
Substituting out jungler as well, I think makes a big difference in these best of one series. You could even call them series, these showdowns of sorts. Got a lot of tricks in their pocket here. Waterloo, a hard team to get a read on, and it's been showing in this game. Trivia Boy now doing what he can. This maybe UBC looks to the tournament lives on the line.
Dark is in.
Has to stopwatch that one. Just does Vegas barely. He's over the wall.
The fight.
Reset the cooldown. Now Baguettes could be in some trouble. Won't have the egg for this one as far as I know. So if they can get it, that's going to be another huge kill onto most of the wave clear now into the Baron portion of the game. Dark so far down and will get by, but will trade his own life for it. Doesn't matter because a teleport coming down from Riven now in the top side means they're getting ready to get in onto this inhibitor. The minions are there. This should be the game. Ballistic Bunny cannot hold this one all off, and they're going to go for the blood on him anyway. I think Special K wants this. They're already calling the GGs. The hook connects. Ballistic Bunny's in some real trouble, and that's going to do it. University of Waterloo, they do the back-to-back against ferocious opponents. First Purdue, now UBC. They continue to march on, and now,
Waterloo.
next week, they're going to be facing up against Columbia College.
Oh, you want to talk about an opponent? This was one of them. UBC, certainly hard to match up to. They played a pretty close game for so long, and then, much like the last time, and in basically the same time frame, with 27 minutes to boot, they close it out, and it's just, again, right? Waterloo win the game off of great decisions, fantastic team fighting, and just aggression. They're always forcing, they're always finding picks, always keeping a team on the back foot, and because most of these teams don't have a composition tuned for the same specific time, 23 minutes to like 30, so where this comp is insane, right? No team has matched that so far. So we'll see if Waterloo are going to find their match in Columbia College. I don't know, but what I do know is they had a fantastic set of victories here today.
Yep, I think too though CC is going to have some film on these guys. They're going to be able to do some good research on this Waterloo team, and whether or not that makes or breaks the difference. But for now, we do of course want to extend our congratulations to Waterloo for living to fight another day, and of course thanks to Purdue and, of course, UBC for their hard-fought seasons that did unfortunately come to a close at the hands of the same team today. They can at least be kindred spirits in that. But that's going to wrap us up for the League of Legends. But, Jeff, we got some more esports coming their way, don't we? Yeah, that's going to be Counter-Strike coming up right after, of course, League of Legends. That is every Tuesday and Thursday. So more esports action to come, but that's going to wrap us up here for League of Legends. We'll be back with more of the winners bracket and losers bracket following as much comprehensively as we can. It'll be next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. You know where to find us. Besides that, we'd love to hear about your feedback on Twitter. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to say goodnight. Don't forget Counter-Strike coming up right after this, but that's goodbye from us.